Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching this, wherever you are listening to this show. It is being broadcast to multiple locations like Substack, Twitter, or X, and YouTube and TikTok, but it's also on Spotify and a bunch of other places. So if you, wherever you hear this, whatever you listen to this, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. I have a special guest today, and this one is, I mean, how it started was a simple couple texts back and forth, and she wanted to do my astrology, and I was like, perfect. And it was, it was interesting to learn how somebody can read you from over the internet and with a few interactions and things like that, and a few other things. It kind of gets you pretty close to who you are, and I'm grateful for it and all that. One of the cool things I learned about Stone is that she is a big lover of the wolves. I didn't believe it at first until I saw one of her articles where she's sitting down and pictures and all that kind of stuff. And then while we're in the green room, I saw um, all her paint or pictures about the wolves and things like that. So it was really cool. In the meantime, I just want to just pick up a couple things. Number one, the book funnel program that we're doing this fall, top 10, or this fall, this spring, top 10 for April is still out. You see that on my Substack. You can go there, and they're the top 10. Also, we got a new set of writers that I'm working through the top 10 for May. So that's coming out soon. So we're kind of like interested. One of the things that we are asking for our audience to do is to, if something resonates with you, something you appreciate, something you see, either it takes you to go buy a book or it resonates somehow or another, leave a comment. That's one of the things that we're trying to do, is uplift these authors, these independent authors. And Amazon really loves it when the author gets more ranking. The more ranking, the more visibility. The more visibility, the higher the ranking, and so forth. And I plan on doing some type of a podcast on that, just to kind of give you guys an understanding how that works in that world. With that said, there is the other thing is a couple articles are coming out this week. I'm still working on the hospital one. The hospital stay is a series I've been working on for a couple days, and a couple of the Substack people came out and actually gave me some support and some encouragement. Actually, you all did. Thank you very much. But it's been kind of cool to see how this community is working, and I really, truly appreciate that. Thank you. I'm going to bring in Wolf, Stone Wolf. I don't know if she's on, because she was there, now she's gone. The screen is gone, so hopefully she's there. Hello?
Hi.
I can't see you now.
I see me and I see you.
You played Picky Boo?
No, nothing has changed on my end.
Okay, well, I can't see you, unfortunately. Can you come back out and come back in, and I'll bring it right back in? I apologize.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
no worries. It's all good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay.
Technical challenges during live events can be very entertaining, and it can also be very challenging, but it's all good, and we're gonna try this again. Yeah, you're still dark, unfortunately.
Um,
I see you talking.
we were doing so well.
Yes. I'm trying to see if I can change some settings on my end.
Yeah, I just like activated and deactivated and
There it
reactivated my
is.
camera. Okay.
I see you.
Hold on
I
a
think
second.
something was blocking
No,
the view.
it switched to my iPhone for some reason. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Can you see me now?
Yep, I got to see you. Well, welcome, finally.
Okay.
So, Stone Wolf, who were you
Yes.
before that name?
uh, I don't really know if I was anyone specific before this name. I feel like my life was a evolution to discovering this kind of culmination of personhood, I guess you would call it. I think I was very amorphous and figuring a lot of things out before it solidified into to what I am and who I am now.
And so kind of explain your story a little bit. Like how did you evolve? Like where does your story begin? Because most of it's all the wolves. Like where did that passion came from? Where did all that, like, did something happen in childhood that resonated with you? And
So yes, something, yeah, absolutely. I have always been an animal lover. And when I was a little girl, my favorite animals were bunnies. I had bunny stuffed animals, bunny blankets. I was born in May, so all the like bunny spring stuff just, kind of came to me, and I had a pet bunny, and um was also the daughter of a hunter. And when so I grew up really weird in some ways. So we had horses and we would go out on horse rides and like into the mountains, like take food, be out there all day. And I had a lot of cousins that we were close with. They would come with us and we would do these rides. And I have been firearm trained from a very young age because of my dad. And so we always had rifles with us. And um, one day we were on a horseback ride and we were with some of our cousins, and my dad saw a jackrabbit and he shot it to bring home and eat. And like I'm just sitting there on my horse and I don't know what to do. And my dad like goes to get this dead jackrabbit, and I'm sorry, this is graphic, so I apologize. He like gutted it, like just right there, because you have to do that before you bring it home. And like the heart like was still beating like when it was on the ground. And then he like handed it to my cousin, and my cousin like just had it on his lap. And we rode home, and I couldn't say anything because this type of family, like if you show that you're upset or you're scared or anything like that, like it is going to be used against you immediately.
hmm,
So I just like, you know, shut up and like dealt with it. And we get home and like my cousin has blood all over his pants and like everyone wants to eat this rabbit. And I was like, I don't feel this is not cool. So I became a vegetarian from a very young age. um, and kind of spent a lot of time educating myself on ecosystems and wildlife management and tons of wildlife documentaries and all of these intricate, complex things that happen in the wilderness, and then they become very out of balance when humans interact with them for um, a lot of different reasons. So just through that journey of like, yeah, becoming a vegetarian, that self-education process, the deeper you go, the more you learn about how critical apex predators are for our ecosystems to be healthy. They're called keystone species because they are the keystone for a healthy environment. So, being someone who grew up outside, loves being outside, and wants to continue to have a relationship with nature, and not one where I'm above nature, but one where I am a part of nature. Um, Learning about wolves and their persecution and their vilification and a lot of the misconceptions about them really just sat with me in my chest, so yeah, it's it's a big thing. And then later in life, I connected it to the oppression of women and women in societies and how that starts to deteriorate the human society. And it revealed itself to me in this really interesting, connected way. So I think I just get more passionate about it, like as I get older too. So,
Well,
uh,
what resonates out of me is this whole thing about where you couldn't speak your mind in the family.
yes.
Let's talk about that a little bit. In so was it more of a suppression of time, or was it more of a guilt type of reaction, or how did like if you said
No, it's self-preservation.
hmm,
So, and I don't want to like I didn't grow up. I don't want to say like abusive. There were like notes of that, like subtle factors. But I have like a very hardcore Italian family, and in that dynamic, there's a lot of picking on people. Like you just give each other shit, and it's kind of the way it goes. And all of my cousins that were around regularly are older boys, and my little sister and I were the youngest girls of the group, and so we were practiced for wrestling. We like we were always in competition with these boys for a place like at the table kind of. And in order to have that place with any sense of like safety or dignity, like you had to be tough, like you couldn't be upset when someone made fun of you. Like you couldn't be upset when you saw the rabbit get shot. Like you couldn't like it would just be you would never be able to live it down, for the rest of your life. If you got upset about something, it'd be like, you remember that one time and you were crying and, so,
I remember
um,
I'm Italian, so I completely
okay,
understand.
yeah,
I completely understand. I
yeah,
there was a time I was in Italy, and we were at the farm, at the villa, what you want to call it. We were this big farmhouse and villa and all this shit. Excuse my language, but we're sitting there in this big, huge table, big kitchen, and mom comes out to me and he's like, "Johnny, what do you want? What do you want to eat? You want to eat chicken or you want to eat rabbit?" I was like, "I don't never had rabbit before, so no, right?" And he's like, "Oh, you like chicken?" He goes, "Okay," and anyways, so we're having dinner and I'm eating the meat that was served, right? And it was rabbit. He's like, "How do you like
mhm,
the chicken?" And everybody's laughing because they just were making a fun out of it, right?
yeah,
Like,
mhm,
what's going on? And you just realize you're eating rabbit. And I was like,
yeah,
well, you know what? It is what it is. So what, right? So no, I completely understand that the culture and the razzing. And if you show weakness, you boy,
yeah.
yeah, life
You're
would be
gonna get it
hard.
10 times harder after
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and I had cousins. My little sister was very sensitive, and she was picked on relentlessly. And it happened with a couple other of my family members. So I saw it, and I was like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I still kind of well, I kind of still do it. Well, you learn how to do it, right? But not in a
yeah,
very negative way. Like you try to be, well, I
yeah. I
don't
think
know.
there's a good natured way to do it, and
Yeah.
then there's like a mean.
Yeah, there's a mean way of doing it.
Yeah.
So being Canadian and Italian, that mix pretty well. Like the Canadians are very, they have a very dry humor, like really, really dry. And
Mhm.
sometimes you can't tell if they're joking or they're real.
Mhm.
90% of the time they're joking. But they would like, so I have that mechanism how to do both. And you could sit there and you could just like, I would sit there and I would just say something so matter of fact, and everybody's like, "What is he really real?" and no one really gets it. I just chuckle because yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't. It's fun. Yeah, so that's cool. So you actually were raised in a family. Was your dad first generation, or you actually came from the boat? How did that?
My dad's grandpa came from a boat.
Okay,
Um, yeah, they came to New Jersey. So my dad's dad was born in Jersey. he had a family there, but then had to leave and then started another family in Arizona. So I have a bunch of half family in Jersey. And yeah, I mean, like they own a deli, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah.
No, they're not the Sopranos, are they? Just no, no, just no, no,
Nope.
no. Nope, not going there. I get it. I understand. I said it with funniness. I could have been a lot more serious, but I said it with
Yeah.
funniness. Well, that's cool. I mean, you're in Arizona and all that. That's how, what's like you're born in Arizona, I'm
hmm
assuming.
Yep.
So one of the things that I've learned about Arizona, this is kind of cool. Like there is no insects. Like there's no like flies. Is that true? Mosquitoes? They're kind of
I
like
have
are they
no idea where you learned that, but
okay?
there is a plethora of insects here, especially when you have horses. There are
Mm,
a lot of flies. Um,
someone lied to me.
Mosquitoes vary depending on what area you're in, but during the monsoon season, you definitely get mosquitoes. Yeah, they just don't last very long. Like it's maybe they're around for 2 months out of the year, and then that's it.
So
hmm
someone lied to me. Okay, I'm gonna
Yes,
yeah.
yes, you're gonna have to hunt that person
Yeah,
down because
hunt them
yeah,
down and yeah, I'll deal with
yeah,
it.
and not. I mean, and furthermore, like there's scorpions and
Yeah, yeah.
beetles and
Well,
yeah,
there's
all
like
kinds
it
of
was I think it was during January we were down there in a conference and I didn't notice any bugs or like that. And he goes, "Oh yeah, there's no like maybe he was just being sarcastic. I'm like, yeah, there's no bugs
yeah.
here." Because I was like, wow, that's kind of nice not to have all these bugs on you all the time.
January is definitely a minimal month for them for sure.
Okay.
Like yeah,
Mm.
the mosquito the monsoon season is tail end of summer. So that's when those will be around and pretty much after that, not so much.
So I'm gonna dive in a little bit on something about I know was it the lake in I think it's McLean. Is it McLean? I can't remember the lake in Nevada. Does that affect you guys? Like, because of lower water levels and all that. Does that affect your area as well, or is that a different?
No, we get most of our water, well, again, like area dependent. So Phoenix and Tucson has a lot of well water. But Phoenix, parts of Tucson, rely on the Colorado River,
Okay,
which is also super low. So that will affect where I am in Flagstaff is north. And this is something not a lot of people realize about Arizona. Like you hear that word and you think like out west, which, yeah. Flagstaff is 7,000 feet elevation. So we're surrounded by millions of acres of forest and mountains. So most of our water comes from our snowpack and our snow melt. We have a couple lakes here where we get most of our water from.
and does that like are the wolf? Do wolves come down that far? Or are they somewhere else?
So southern Arizona has wolves, the Mexican gray wolf.
Yeah.
Um, they occupy northern Mexico, southern Arizona, southern New Mexico. And every now and then, the other variety of gray wolf, yeah, will come down from Colorado or Utah, but that's very rare.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the wolves that I encountered were in northern BC, northern Canada, Yukon, things like that, and they were something you didn't want to mess with because they came in packs. Is that
Mhm.
similar down in that area there? Do they still have a pack mentality?
Yeah, I mean, wolves biologically are born with pack mentality. That's how they survive. That's what
Mm.
makes them resilient because they have a very intelligent well-knit social structure where they survive because of each other. Lone wolves typically do not live for long. It's hard for a wolf to hunt by itself. And then, of course, you can't mate, you can't reproduce, yeah. Lone wolves are not common. It does happen through dispersion. But typically, a lone wolf that dispersed from its pack is trying to find a mate to start its own pack because it won't live for long on its own.
Hmm. So what was your first interaction with the wolf? How did that, did we, I don't know, remember we talked about that, but is there an interaction you had with one that you resonated and you kind of like, whoa, this is cool?
Not specifically. I'm actually, because in Arizona they're so elusive, it's not you're very few people see them. So unfortunately I've never seen one in the wild. The closest I've gotten is a lot of coyotes.
Hmm.
The only interactions I've had physically with wolves was at a sanctuary, a wolf sanctuary in Sedona, and that's where those photos you saw are from. And that really blew me away for a lot of reasons. So, this sanctuary specifically is very small. The wolves live in enclosures, which is very sad because they're not supposed to be contained animals. Some sanctuaries do have fenced in acres for them to roam on. This one does not. But the thing with these wolves is that they were rescued from fur farms or
Oh,
illegal breeders. So they were never taught how to be a wolf. They were never taught how to hunt. So they can't be released. They have to stay there for their life. Um,
so basically they're at risk if they're left out in the wild.
they they would die. They wouldn't know how to eat. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but with that being said, they are less wild. They're accustomed to human interaction because they interact with their handlers. Obviously, this sanctuary does human tours and stuff. So they don't force the wolves to interact with anyone. And part of the talk you get when you go there is like wolves sense energy. You know, if they don't come up to you, like, we're not going to make that happen. I was lucky enough to have many of them come up to me, and one of them was like trying to play with me. Like, it took my hand in its mouth like a dog, like how your dog plays with you. And the handler was like getting freaked out. He was like, "Oh, spirit, like, don't scare the girl." And I was like, "I'm so not scared. Like, this is exactly what I want to be happening right now." Like, if it were up to me, I would have spent hours just like wrestling and like playing with this wolf.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to do that in this environment. But yeah, it was really amazing to see these just beautiful, majestic animals and how curious and intelligent and aware and responsive and like look you right in the eye and like feel your energy, and you can feel theirs, and like their fur and their paw and the way they smell. And at the end we did get to howl with one of them, and that's one of those things, like, we've all, I think, seen and heard videos of wolves howling, which is amazing, but when a wolf is like right in front of you, I might get emotional, howling, and like you hear it like right there, it is it was like the most beautiful thing I'd ever heard in my life. And like we're supposed to like howl back and forth, like the wolf howls and then we howl. And my howl, like I'm crying. Like during this experience, and my howl was like um, yeah. So that was really special. Yeah.
Well, my experience with a wolf's howling was pretty scary because we knew we
Yeah.
were in trouble. So like we had to get our guns out. We're ready to go rock just in case.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were scared. So in your situation, I'm grateful that was awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is
And I
awesome.
mean, in the wild, human wolf like statistically, I think only maybe two people have been hurt by a wild wolf in like 100 years.
Yeah.
So obviously it's scary because you're in the wilderness with wild animals and you don't know what's gonna happen. But their nature is to not interact with humans.
No,
Um,
they run away. Same thing. Well,
yeah.
to be honest, the bears, the mountain lions, the
Mm-hmm.
cougars, all those animals in all nature, if you do, if they'll leave you alone if you leave them
Mm-hmm.
alone. Now you cross
Yep.
their path and you like. I remember we had a bear in the camp, and that was, pretty scary. But
Yeah.
it was a
Mm-hmm.
it was a black bear, and he was coming after our food, and um, I mean, we just backed out. We just kind of left the camp, kind of backed out, let him go. I mean, there was no point. We just wanted to see if it goes away. If it didn't go away, then
Yeah.
we were ready to take him out.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it sounds mean to say that, but it was either them or him or us.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, life or death situations, like
and
it. Yeah.
there's no choice. I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
there's like four of us who were just camping because we're working up there. It doesn't mean that, and that was, but typically most wild animals will leave you alone. And as long as you don't intrude, as long as you intimidate them, as long as they don't
Mm-hmm.
really, they'll sense you from miles away. They know
Oh,
you're
they can
around.
smell you. Yeah, they
Oh
know
yeah.
you're there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And as long as you just leave them alone, they'll leave
Mm-hmm.
you alone. And
Yep.
that's been, and I've heard people get attacked by mountain lions or cougars in northern BC because they were antagonized them.
Mm-hmm.
The wolves, I have never seen them. I've heard them,
Mm-hmm.
the tracks, and that seemed kind of like, oh, they're around, but they weren't. I mean, they're probably maybe like 100 yards from the camp,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 100 yards. They were trying to look for a prey. They were going after whatever they want, and they were
Mm-hmm.
just tracking somebody down. That's pretty cool. That. What you did there. That's pretty amazing. Now, I would be scared. Just being honest. I'm like,
Yeah, no, I mean it's
taking
not
my hand. Did you want me to wolf? And no, no, no.
yeah, I don't know, like it's just it's very much a kinship, I feel, and I did grow up with dogs. I grew up with big dogs. I have two big dogs,
Yeah.
and I'm the kind of person, like, I get on all fours and like I play with my dog and like I bite my dog back and like I
Oh wow.
growl and um yeah, so that just weird that way, I guess. I don't know.
No, I've seen it. I've
Yeah.
seen it somewhere else. No, I train Remy and Colt, and I you gotta teach them the alpha male. You're either the alpha male. You can't be a buddy
Mhm.
buddy to them. You got to give them some directions. And there's been,
Mhm. They need structure.
yeah, they need structure. They need to know that
Mhm.
we also have terrier dogs, which they're a little bit clingy,
Mhm.
and mom has an issue with her dog, which is Colt, that he's always beside her. And I've been trying to train her and say, look, this dog needs purpose. And him on your feet, and you're 90 plus years old, him tripping you over will turn into an
Mhm.
accident, and
Mhm.
he'll get blamed for it. And we don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So I've been training the dogs not to come running at the door when we're coming through, tell them to go sit
Mhm.
down. So until she's settled down, then she has a moment, and then she can come pick them up. Uh, and that's what I will, that's the thing I wanted to see how, she gets reacted. And so far he's starting to learn here and there. Um, yeah. So that's one of the things that we have to, work through. And it's been challenging because he is a little stubborn of a dog. So yeah, he knows I'm the alpha. He knows not to get away, but he's been learning. Like, he's been learning to
Yeah.
stay in his little spots and not, like, even though he's anxious to see her and
Yeah.
great, I just don't want him to run up, jump on her, and then
No,
all.
that's a safety situation for sure.
So we're
Yeah.
trying to we're trying
Mhm.
to figure that out. And then then he used to follow her in the bathroom all the time, and I told her, I said, that's not cool, because he's has anxiety. He feels like he needs to
Mhm.
be there. So
Mhm.
when you leave that room, tell him to stay, go in that bathroom and come back, so he knows that he knows he's okay where he's at, because you're going to come
Mhm.
back. That's what he wants to know.
Mhm.
He wants to know he's come back. So that is that's important for for all dogs. I had a German Shepherd growing up. That's where I learned most of my training.
Mhm.
Uh, when I tell people, when they say, "Well, I want to train my dog," no, you need to train yourself to
Yes.
understand the dog.
Mhm.
You need to be trained, not the dog. The dog doesn't need.
Mhm.
You need to train yourself. And I don't think people really understand that. It doesn't really. Most people just take a dog, and I don't mean this like take a dog and they just kind of like let them be without any structure.
Yeah.
And I remember going on a walk with Remy, and Remy has learned to heel, which is an
Mhm.
important part of the walking, where he doesn't go and
Mhm.
drag the leash and all that. And this other dog, and he was on my right side, and this other dog was loose on a leash, not loose, but kind of loose by the owner, and the owner
Mhm.
had no strength, had no control, no nothing. And that
Mhm.
dog came through between my legs and came to Remy, and I was like furious at the
Mhm.
and I was like, "You got to control your dog. That's not cool, man." He was, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Mhm.
No, it's not sorry. You can kill somebody with that way. I could have tripped, broke my leg, whatever. Like, control your dog. My dog's control. Your dog needs to be controlled. And the reason why I train Remy the way it is, I don't want him to be distracted by anybody else. So that's why we walk the way we walk. Is like,
Mhm.
walks back, walks by, and we're walking. He has should not give any attention to that dog. It should just be focused on the walk. So I don't know if that's similar to what you do with your dogs, but that's sort of what I do with my dogs. And I give them room to run. That's the important.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely I agree 100% with what you're saying. Like it's about training yourself and like you need to understand how the dog brains work. They can't understand how you work, you know?
Yeah.
And it's an unfortunate aspect because a lot of people don't understand that. And I don't know how it is in Canada, but in down below, we are experiencing a nationwide shelter crisis,
Oh
where
wow.
pretty much every single shelter in the country is euthanizing healthy dogs every single day. And there's a couple contributing factors. Economical reasons, people can't afford to keep their pets anymore, mass deportations, pets are,
Mm.
you know, left behind. And also, people just get a puppy and then they don't know how to give it structure, give it a job. If it's a border collie or, any type of working dog, and they're like, oh, this dog's too crazy. And so then
Mm.
they just give it to the shelter. Like German Shepherds and Huskies are two of the breeds that are like the statistic is crazy. Like huge percentage of them are dumped at shelters, abandoned somewhere on the street, and it's all because the person didn't know how to give the dog what it needed to be healthy. And I mean that like mentally and emotionally as well, because a lot of neurotic bad dog behavior is stress and anxiety that doesn't have a place to go. So yeah, I mean, I'm very different with my dogs than you are with yours.
Yeah.
um, they're
Well,
very
yeah.
well trained, but
Yeah.
we live right next to a wilderness preserve and we do a lot of stuff like that. So our dogs are actually trained to be off leash and come to us when we call them. So if they
Yeah.
see another dog or another person, like they'll be curious, but we just say come here and they come. But we let them run. Like my one girl, she wants to chase the deer and she wants to chase the rabbit, but that's part of giving her um
Oh
like
yeah.
her instinctual needs met,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I should really. So we live in an urban area where there's
Mhm.
a park, so we have to have a leash.
Yes, yeah.
And,
Mhm.
and we live in an apartment complex when we're
Mhm.
near
Yeah,
forest,
very
so
different. Yeah.
very different. So
Mhm.
everything's now when we take them out to go potty in the courtyard per se, they're off the leash and they get to do what they want, and then they wrestle
Mhm.
with each other and they spend a lot of time wrestling, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
So that's No, you're right. There's a balance. You have to give them you have to give them structure. There's
Mhm.
no, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to build
No, you
structure.
can't get around that.
No.
Yeah.
And you have to show that you're the dominant in that
Mhm.
relationship
They have to
because
respect you in that
yeah,
way. Yeah. Mhm.
and not to fear you, but to kind of like, okay, he's the boss. That's
Mhm.
the way it is.
Mhm.
But you also have to give them. But it's cool where you're at because you can let them go, and they have that freedom. And I'm sure, but teaching them to come is it's part of the process. Like that is
Mhm.
an important part to teach them to come
Mhm.
back. I got a quick story. So I was out by there's a little bit of river park where we usually take them all the time. And what I was doing, I was training them how to come.
Mhm.
So I would start off with a leash, how you just leash, you drop it,
Yeah.
and then you kind of, or you pull them to you and make sure they come to you, not
Mhm.
somewhere else.
To the side or
But yeah,
yeah.
it's like in front of you, and he
Mhm.
sits. And did that a couple of times, and then I get further out, and I would leave the leash off, and I get further out, teach him, come out, come on. This
Mhm.
one time I was teaching him, I don't know, he had a hair up his ass. And mind you, we have a busy street, okay? And
Mhm.
in between the park and where we live. And that little bugger got it up his just got it. He just got all wound
He
up.
had an idea.
He had an idea and he bolted home. He
Mm.
bolted home. Oh boy,
Mhm.
was I mad at him.
Mhm.
And I said, "You're not going to be off the leash until I'm comfortable with you again." And ever
Mhm.
since then, he never did that again. Like sometimes he'll try to do some, have some independency that way, but not. No, he never did it again though. We went out there, leave him alone, and but yeah, he's been good dog. But that's the one time where I was freaking out, and I was like, oh my god, he's gonna die, and I chased
Yeah,
him.
no, that's terrifying, like, cause cars and dogs are not a
Oh,
good mix.
but
Yeah.
you have to
Mhm.
train them, and there's not
Mhm.
really a good way to train them other than to trust that it's building the trust and trusting
Mhm.
down the road. Now, gratefully, he's out of that like puppy dog type mentality. He's more of an adult now, which is a little better.
Mhm.
So that's kind of cool. Uh, so wow, we went on a little tangent here, but that's kind of so one thing I want to talk about the wolves, like so in Canada, they're really heavy in
Mhm.
fur, right? They're very furry,
Heavy in fur. Yeah.
heavy in
Mhm.
fur, like very what's the size? Are they a lot more thinner, like more of like a German Shepherd type dog, or what does that look like?
Um, so if we're talking about Arizona specifically
Well,
or, like, the
down that
Southwest?
region, because yeah, that region, I was like, I didn't realize there were wolves all the way down there until you mentioned it.
Yeah, yeah.
Wondering,
So, like I said, it's the Mexican gray wolf. They are smaller, for sure, more lean, less fur because it doesn't really get cold
yeah,
down here. They're kind of just like, so you guys have gray wolves. They're just like a smaller, less fluffy version of that.
hmm.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, well,
They're
that's
more their color doesn't vary as much. They tend to stay brown and gray to blend in with their environment here. You don't very often see like black or white Mexican wolves.
hmm. Yeah, the other thing
Mhm.
you mentioned about, and now I'm jumping back to the German Shepherds and Huskies. Huskies is a big dog, and if you bring a
Mhm.
husky into a house, that's a big dog.
Mhm.
That's a lot of responsibility. They need some structure. They're
Mhm.
Alaska. They pull
Yeah.
seeds, right?
And
So
they're a prey driven dog too, which
yeah,
is a big
well,
thing to deal with.
yeah,
Mhm.
because they're very territorial.
Mhm.
They're just they're a very protective dog. They're very territorial, and they can hurt people really, really quickly. But
Mhm.
they're a they're a they're a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much to deal with them, and I've seen them in environments where people don't really um, know how to handle them, and they deal with,
Mhm.
and then you got to deal with all the fur. Now, I've had a German Shepherd, and growing up as a German Shepherd, and boy, she was like a if you can, once you train them, and I've seen German Shepherds being trained. Um, the Italians always love the German Shepherds, especially Northern Italians. They always love the German Shepherds because they were always good guard dogs. They were always
Mm-hmm.
they were very easy to be trained. They understood their role. They understood the whole thing. They weren't so. The cool thing about dogs, once you teach them, they don't need your presence 24/7. They could be very independent and very if you've given them structure. But the
Mm-hmm.
sad part, what you told me, is those two dogs are now being destroyed because of negligence,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and it's just sad.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And I'm very active in the world of dog rescue and helping shelters and donating to rescue efforts and helping dogs find foster homes and all of this. And literally every single day, just through the people I follow on social media, I probably see 200 healthy huskies that are on the euthanasia list in one county. One county.
In Arizona.
No, actually in California, but it is a problem here too. Yeah, yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Why have huskies in Arizona? I don't understand. Or in California, that's a big
Yeah, even in
a
California. I
lot.
know, well, people will see videos of like cute funny huskies because they are goofy dogs. Like they do
Yeah.
have very goofy, funny, fun personalities, you know, and they'll be like, "I want a husky." And so then husky breeders get to make money off of this whole thing. So one of the big problems is breeding is not regulated the way it needs to be. It just isn't. And I know depending on who you're talking to, if you say the word regulation, everyone's going to get all aggro. But the thing is, like, there are certain practices that, when left unchecked, create a huge problem. And this is one of them. There is massive unregulated breeding in California and Arizona. And it allows for people to just profit off of this cycle, and then these dogs are getting dumped. And I mean, I've seen footage of, you know, people rescues going into some of these breeding places, and it is like the most horrifying thing you can imagine. Like what they put these mother dogs through. And yeah, it's really bad.
So Izzy, in my book, in second book of Remy's Journey, which I published last week, which was Izzy. Izzy came into light, and Izzy lived in the complex where we live, and she was from a farm, and they abused her like
Mm.
really bad, and she lost one of her front legs, and
Ugh.
we kind of like sat like this. It was just horrible. But she was a little spirit little dog. She was cute. She would, and unfortunately she's passed, but not because of that, because of other things. But it's just, when you see dogs like that, I go, like, why is it so? Why do we? Like, isn't that abusive in itself? Like, isn't that like animal abuse?
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, it connects very much to the story of the wolf. And humans who have this idea that we are somehow supposed to be dominant to nature and dominant to wild, and that is a mindset that puts us not only out of balance with nature, but out of balance with the best parts of ourselves, because the best parts of ourselves are tribal. We're a community. We work together, you know, we create structures of mutual. But when you bring dominance and hierarchy and ideas of extraction and exploitation and what's best for profit and for me personally as an individual, and we lose sight of how humans, nature, animals, trees, rivers all work together. Um, and here we are, you know, and I I don't know if you're aware of any of this, and I won't get like too political or whatever, but a bunch of America's wilderness spaces are currently up for sale to Canadian mining companies. Like
Mm.
our national parks are being sold off to Canadian mining companies.
No, I did
And this
not.
includes area, yeah, of this is wolf habitat, this is bear habitat, this is freshwater habitat, you know? So all of this affects everyone in those communities, especially the indigenous tribes that try to protect those lands and still live on the wilderness in those lands. And we just have this whole messed up way that we look at things to have power over versus live in harmony with.
Well, we definitely don't live within our means.
No, no, we do not. No.
Um, and so I'm a big German Shepherd dog guy.
Mm-hmm.
I love German Shepherds and all that. Now, I do not have the space, nor do I have the time to deal with a dog like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know what it takes to take care of a dog like that. Now, Remy is a little smaller. He's 30 pounds. He's
Mm-hmm.
easier around the house, blah, blah, blah. Much easier to maintain. A little bit of structure, training, stuff like that. Nothing crazy. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
like I did with my German Shepherds. Um, but that's like, I think one of the things as owners, they need to go through schools first before
Mm-hmm.
they can even have a dog. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's I think you need to have some type of training.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I live close now. I live in the Philadelphia area, which is a completely different. And dogs tend to kind of they're on leashes, and you can see the neighbor. Like people just don't know how to handle a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad part about it is that. So when I say that is that we don't understand what our means are.
Mm-hmm.
What we want,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't understand that that want carries some responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's a chain effect cause. Like
There's consequences. Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
if you go to a breeder who just breeds dogs left, right, and center, he's going to continue to breed dog because you went to go look for a dog and you got a breed dog, or just whatever. Like there's always cause and effect, like of whatever that is, cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I think we've learned just to consume
Mm-hmm.
as adults or as people is to
As
consume.
society.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's probably where I admired that your father actually was a hunter gatherer basically type person. He went out and got his meat and brought back home. You guys ate what you guys collect. That's
Mm-hmm.
preserving. When we did that in Canada, that was preserving, even though
Mm-hmm.
people didn't like it. But they didn't really understand why we hunted. We hunted for the food that we were going to eat for that entire year,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is a completely different thing. And it's part of that ecosystem, which helps the ecosystem as well, if you understand,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
that works.
No, I have no moral quandary with responsible hunting.
Yeah.
Keyword being responsible.
Oh yeah, no. Don't be
Yeah.
wrong. There's been
Yeah.
people that would go out and kill just for the sake of kill. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we've had up in Canada, they would kill bears for just the heart
Mm-hmm.
and kidneys, something like that. And they would sell it on the black market for the
Mm-hmm.
Chinese. And the Chinese would buy it because it was part of a medicine
Mm-hmm.
practice going. I don't know exactly what that was, but that's as far like, and people would kill a bear and we would come across it and you could see that they just gutted the heart or whatever
Mm-hmm.
the organs they wanted. That was it. Now, a bear is pretty tough to eat to begin with because it's not a very
Mm-hmm.
good meat. It's very, very gamey. It's not a good meat at all. But a lot of people kill it for the skin,
For the money.
for
Yeah.
the skin and the money and all
Mm-hmm.
that. But that's where people are they're still regulating that, and I think they're doing a good job on that. But
Mm-hmm.
when you look at just our society as a whole, we just consume and we just destroy the goodness of it. Like those little things, like having a dog, be like me not bringing in German Shepherd is being responsible
Mm-hmm.
because it makes sense.
Mhm.
But people don't respect that, and I don't mean I'm not dissing anybody that does that. I just don't think they understand that. So it's
No,
just
I think it's like a combination between ignorance and narcissism, and when those two things meet each other, um, it's kind of a sticky
oh yeah.
situation.
Well, in
Yeah.
your situation, you have you in the backyard. It sounds like you have you have area for your dog, so you can have big dogs that they need
Mhm.
places to run. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I like big dogs. I'm a big dog person. I spent years when I was younger living in an apartment, and as much as I wanted a dog, I didn't get a dog because I'm not going to have an 80-pound dog in a 600 square foot apartment, Like,
It's tough.
yeah.
Uh, Trust me, it is tough.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So you've kind of like, did you like? I see your paintings back there. There, we talked a little bit about them, about the wolves and all that. Um, and you talked about a business you had once. Was that what was that business about? Is that really?
I still have my business. That's
Oh,
my
okay.
main form of income. So I started it in 2015 and still going. I make like non-toxic, um, kind of high-end candles, skincare.
Oh, wow.
I do decorative home art. I also am a gem and mineral curator. Um, so
Hmm.
yeah.
So let's talk about your astrology. You're getting to your astrology part of it now.
Mhm.
So you decided to do me one day out of the blue. I was really like, wow, this is okay.
I
All
know,
right.
I felt weird. I was like, he's either gonna think I'm really weird or like he's gonna be stoked.
I was like, well, I didn't know, and I thought
Yeah.
rather than like I've been kind of like the person that's been rather than saying no, let's say yes and see where this goes
Mhm. Mhm.
because you just don't know, right? I rather
Mhm.
know and understand rather than not know. So explain to me what you do so the audience understands what your process is.
Absolutely. So, small bit of background information. I got into like magic, occult, woo woo, whatever you want to call it, when I was really young. So it's been a part of my life for a very long time now, and I'm not a professional astrologer, so I do want to put that out there. Like, I'm not at a professional level with it. But what I do have is a very well developed intuition. So basically, one day I was just looking at my own chart, just, I don't know, checking it out. And I started to see this story in it. I was like, this isn't just a thing with lines and signs on it. Like this is a whole mythological cosmos of like me and my soul and my life. And I just kind of started typing, you know, like this story that I saw, and it felt really aligned, and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Like I didn't even mean to do this. It just happened, and I shared that poem and people really liked it, and I was like, "Cool. So I wonder if I can do this for other people." Like it was just a curiosity, you know. I've never read a stranger's charts before. I've only done like my friends or family members. So on my I run my business through Instagram, and through my business community, I just like kind of put out some feelers and I was like, would anyone be interested in like receiving one of these? I was like, I'll do like a couple of them for free, kind of just to like see how it goes, just even for me, because I don't even know if this is something I can do or that makes sense. And the first one I wrote, like I cried while writing it. I was like, oh my God, this is so like, I am looking at this person's, like, journey in such a different way that I've never interpreted someone's chart before. And I'm big on storytelling. I'm big on the medicine that happens through storytelling and the perspectives we get, and when I realized that storytelling and astrology have a meeting place, it lit me up. And I sent the poem to this woman. I was like, I don't know, like this is just what came out. Please tell me what you think. And I really had no idea what to expect. And then she messaged me back. She was like, I've just been crying for an hour. Like, how did you do that? Like, you pinpointed so many things that I've experienced and felt, and, all of this. And she was like, I've never felt so seen. And I was like, okay, that feeling right there, I think is something everyone is looking for. Because we do live in this narcissistic consumer-based society. So not only do we not know ourselves very well, but we don't really know how to know each other very well. And I think we're all craving that connection, that a
Mm.
deeper witnessing to what another human is and what their experience is. And I just kind of realized, like, if this is something that I can do to help people feel seen, then like I want to do that. So I've just been trying to share it more and make
I
it a
was just,
thing.
I was
And
just I was trying to pull up mine, um, and I can't. I don't know why I can't pull mine up, but I wanted to share it. But
oh, I can probably pull it up if you want.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Embarrass
Uh,
me. Why not? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
well, I
No.
mean, you said it. Um, and I remember yours was interesting to do because I didn't have all of your information. Like you didn't know
The
what
time.
exact time you were born. So I actually wrote yours on a partial chart. So I didn't even get your full um
Hmm.
chart because like you can't without the time. Um
Unfortunately, I don't have the time. I looked for it, and
Yeah, the only thing that you could do, and this is if you really wanted to find that out, is just call the hospital you were born at, because
the
they
hospital
have
no
that
longer
on
exists.
record. Oh,
It was
so
actually it was called Saint Valentine, and it was converted into Grace, which now is a child's. I don't remember that could be there, but it's a. But yeah, long story short, that hospital kind of went. It was run by the Catholics.
hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, those records have to be somewhere, but who knows where?
I don't
I
know.
mean, because they have to keep them for legal reasons, basically.
Right.
But
I mean,
yeah,
I could probably go dig it up, but I never thought about doing that. But
yeah.
some things tell me I was born in the morning time because
Hmm.
I'm a morning person. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's I've always felt that I was born in the morning. I don't know why. Um, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just if you really wanted to find out, I feel like there could be a way, but it might take some significant effort since that hospital doesn't exist
So
anymore.
you did my what was so I mean, I know it was a partial, but what was some of the striking things that you saw in that? And after real actually physically meeting me now, or not physically, now no, seeing me now, does that kind of like make sense?
Oh, yeah, it definitely makes sense. So the thing that I saw the most, and I was able to pull it up. And again, like we didn't talk about the details of it, so I don't know if I'm way off base still. Um, so maybe I'm just gonna embarrass myself.
I'm holding my
Um,
cards tight.
what I saw was a lot of, and this is gonna sound generic in a way because every young person struggles. But a lot of, yeah, like tension and struggle in your youth to find what brought value to you personally, like outside of your family structure or the role that the world wanted you to have. And I saw different um a lot of the kind of desire to organize everything and have things be specifically structured in a way. And I think I wrote a part of that in here. Um, but kind of like, but finding your freedom through getting out of that habit and not needing everything to be this way so that you can understand it, but allowing things to be complex and unframed and um definitely like your journey with, you know, the positive pen was a part of that, and being a person who holds space and who holds light and who holds wisdom in a way that isn't superior or gatekeeping, but in a way that people can come and know that it's like a safe space to be nourished in.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Okay. That's probably all right. Yeah, my early struggles in my life was dyslexia, and that was I was picked on about my learning disability, but more importantly, we were um, poor. You know, we
Mhm.
were a rich family, middle class. My dad was blue collar, so we struggled a lot. Christmas wasn't always fun. Birthdays were not always fun. We lived in a very tough neighborhood, and I mean, when I talk about tough, it was gangs. I don't mean that gangs like we see today in the roads, but it was, it was street fighting. That's
Mhm.
what it is.
Mhm.
1960s, 1970s type of street fighting. I don't know if you ever go back. I don't know how far you go, but that was more of a different world. And then, with Positive Pen, it's always been about, for me, it's always about a community and trying to build a community and trying to build something for everybody. And I don't really touch politics on here, even though we might brush on it. We might have a reference to it, but I don't really talk about that on
Mhm.
here because I don't want that to be part of the conversation, because it just it's not part of the community. It doesn't do us any well. It doesn't help us. Like, when we sit here and talk about politics on other platforms, what happens is we're just so consumed, and then we start putting ourselves against each other. I don't know your political background, and nor do I care to know your background. All I want to know, are you a good person? That's all I want.
Mhm.
And are you willing to help others along the way? That's all I care. And
Mhm.
that's what Substack has been about for me. And I think and it's the same thing with this book funnel thing. I don't really make any money off of it. Don't make any money off of it. The concept is, if we can become, and we talked about this earlier, if we could become like a number one publishing company that's nonprofit, not for profit at all, and there's nobody running it, but we happen to find a way to market the independent authors, and we excel and blow them up. I mean, blow them up at the point where they get recognized in the rankings in Amazon, and then become like one and two, whatever the categories are,
Mhm.
or they end up on New York Times bestsellers. That would be something I want to see in my lifetime. That would be something I can say, you know, we did it as a community and we killed the system. We did something with 50 million people on Substack who are loyal readers, or who love writing, who love all this, we love all that, and support us. And the publishing companies who have millions of dollars behind them, we showed up and we
Mhm.
announced them, and we
Mhm.
took. I mean, that is what we can do to and that's, and I don't mean to go on this tangent, but I mean
Mhm.
this. I want to say this with sincerity, that I really want to see that happening. And if we
Mhm.
support each other one way, and I was actually thinking about, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to go on this tangent. And it was like, I was just thinking, if we ever somehow or another we all gave each other $1 or something like that, how that would work financially for all of us. But
Mhm.
um, I just think if we helped each other and I mean truly help each other, not just to come here. And I don't think that we do that. I think on Substack, we're a group of people that are disenfranchised, who are tired of the bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
who is done with the political spectrum of garbage. You can't control it. You're not going to control
Mm-hmm.
it. The only way you can control it is by voting or voicing your opinion to your representative if they give a shit.
Yeah, that's a big if. Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my political point of view, they all need to be fired. I don't
Agreed.
care. All of them.
Clean slate.
Clean
Clean
slate.
slate. Yeah.
Done. And if
Mm-hmm.
I really want to, in my world, John's world, we eliminate all the political parties, and we now elect from the community itself, from the
Mm-hmm.
writing itself, an independent person who has no ties to lobbyists or to
Money. Yep. Mm-hmm.
nothing. And he says, and the community says, here are the top 10 things that we want from you to do. And we send them out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes away, sorry to go on the rant, but that's what I want to see. Because technically speaking, if we really want to become constitutionalist, that's what the founding fathers were. That's what the founding fathers wanted. They wanted independent thinkers. They don't want this corruption that we see every single day.
Yep.
And we see it in every aspect in our society. So I don't want to see it in Substack. I don't.
Yeah.
And I don't want to know what party you belong to. I don't really care. I care only that you are a good person. And the same thing with all these writers and all these, they've put effort into this, and their voice will never be seen unless we do something about it.
Yeah.
And that's the point. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd be on my soapbox for 5 minutes there or so.
No, you're totally good. You're totally good. Yeah.
I think we need to be conduit. Like, if we can do this as a community, that's what I see. And the same thing with the being, like, if you go on Substack, like, I didn't know about wolves in Arizona without knowing you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's education right there. That's an education that I would never, ever have figured that out. But your dogs are barking.
I'm sorry. There's a delivery guy.
That's cute. That's cute. That's cute. That's awesome. Perfect timing, too.
Yeah. I was hoping we'd make it through this time without something being delivered.
No, that's okay. We're good. No worries. No worries. But anyways, we got on a little bit of tangent. I did. I apologize. But hopefully that helps you understand who I am more. And hopefully that what you were reading is a little closer. So how can people out there that want a reading, how can they get a hold of you?
Oh, I mean, I think out of all the platforms that you have this streaming on, I'm only on Substack. But I checked my messages on Substack, so the best way would be to just send me a message on here. If you are a person who is on Instagram, I'm also present there, but those are the only two platforms that I currently use.
Okay.
So yeah, just reach out, ask me questions. You don't have to commit to anything. There's no pressure. We can talk about it. If anybody wants to know more about the process, how it all goes down. I do take a commission to do these. And we can talk about that too. So yeah, they do take a significant amount of time, because I have to read the chart, sit with it, kind of get into a meditative space in order to translate it into the mythology and the poetry. And I run my business full time, so my writing time is limited as it is. So I kind of have like a wait list for this basically.
Okay.
So I don't want to give anyone an impression like, oh, if you message me, I'll do one for you tomorrow, because that's not how it's going to work.
Yeah.
But I am very, I like I said, if there's a way that something I do can help somebody feel seen, and feel understood, and possibly give them inspiration or reflection or encouragement on their journey, because a lot of these poems come out to be very uplifting and very supportive. So I think if that's something you're looking for in a way that you can keep and you can sit with and you can come back to and you can reflect on and it's yours, yeah, just reach out to me, send me a message, leave a comment. Yeah,
So,
I'm
what's the
yeah.
requirements? They need your birthday and the time you were born, and anything else?
Yeah, and location, like what city or
Location.
town. Mhm. Yep.
Okay.
And I can't do anything with that information. I'm not trying to steal anyone's identity. I like the identity that I have, so it's you know. Yeah.
Well, you need that to do a reference, basically a reference
Yes,
of
I do.
to
You
your,
in order to
yeah,
create someone's astrology chart, you have to have that information. It doesn't
yeah,
work any other way. So,
yeah.
yeah.
And
Mhm.
unfortunately, I didn't have the time, and you were kind of like,
No,
"You must know the time." Oh, let me double
it
check
worked
my.
out so well. I was honestly, like, nervous. I was like, "Man, like, I only have half the picture here." So, like, I really gotta, like, dig in with this one. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm glad
well,
it worked out.
I made you do your work.
Yes. Yes, you did.
So, what do we expect you on Substack? What kind of write? Like, are we still writing about wolves? Like, what is your goal on Substack?
I don't think that I have a concrete goal. And my writing is a little all over the place. I don't really have like a niche or anything because I share poetry, and even in poetry my subjects vary. Like I write poems about wolves, I write poems about my husband. I just wrote a poem about the year 2006 and the shenanigans I was up to as a teenager. Um, I share a lot of personal essays where I have my own spiritual practices and like my own like format for inner work and reflection and all of that. And I like to write about it in a way that is real life. So like I'll talk about my life and like the things that I was doing and how this thing that I learned applied to that structure. I will warn people, I am sassy and I swear in my writing and I'm very unapologetic and I will call out toxic behavior without any regret. um, so
That's
I
true.
would just say like I'm very unfiltered, but I come from a place of love. I do also dabble in fiction. I write some short stories. I have a fictional book I'm working on. So like I said, just kind of like all over the place. And my only real goal of being here is just to share what I can share and connect with the people that I can connect with. And if I can provide any sort of meaning or reflection or whatever it is for another person to either understand themselves deeper or feel less alone in the world or maybe have the light click on for something, that's really all I'm here for.
Right. Well, that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
when's your next piece coming out? Is it coming time soon?
Usually I publish on the weekends. Yeah,
Okay.
so Friday, Saturday, unless I get, like, a bug and just write a poem in the middle of the week or something, which is what happened actually with this, poem about my teenage years. It was just I was ruminating a lot, and it just kind of
Blah.
it wasn't like I planned to sit down and write this, it just came out, so
Yeah.
but, yeah, usually Fridays, Saturdays, I publish, something new.
So you are more of a spontaneous writer, is that what I'm understanding? Or are you more
Yes.
strategic? Or
Yeah, no, it's spontaneous. It's all dependent on what's going on in my world and what is coming to the surface and like what I'm looking at for myself. I do share the astrology poems that I write for other people on my Substack. I just keep them anonymous.
hmm,
And something that's been really interesting about that is even though they're poems I've written for like a very specific person, there will be people that say, like, I feel like you wrote this for me, which I think is very beautiful. And I think that once I get enough of them together, I will put them in a book to share, just to have, because maybe, I don't know, they will speak to people that need to hear them.
Hmm. So how do they get? So on Instagram, what's your store? You have a storefront on Instagram, is what I'm understanding, or what is your
Yeah,
store?
well, it's not like I guess because I don't, I don't know,
You
it's
don't have a
weird, but
storefront.
I have an Instagram page.
Yeah.
I run live streams on
Oh,
Instagram where I sell my stuff in the live stream,
okay.
which is fun. It's interactive. I actually have a really, really wonderful community there. Um, so if that's something people are interested, if you like candles and crystals and you want to hear me be very unhinged while I'm selling these things, um, you can join.
Are you like an
Otherwise, I have an
auctioneer?
Etsy.
Are you like
I mean, I'll like sometimes I'll like take a couple tequila shots and just like get weird and like tell stories and laugh and like sing songs in the voice that I think that the crystal has. I don't know. It's but it's a great place to just be. A lot of my community, even if they're not there to shop, they come every week because I have them scheduled just to hang out and decompress and be with people who just want to laugh and be together. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, Stone Wolf, it was been a pleasure. Thank you for this. I mean, it went all over the place, and which is great. I think I mean, people were talking about dogs. A lot of people were speaking on that, which was in the chat. And I'm sorry I didn't touch base because there was a lot of things going on here too. But people worry about the dogs and the care of them and the wolves and animals in general. The preservation of our mother nature is really important. I was happy
Mhm.
having this conversation. I have more of them. I don't think we really understand what is stake what is at stake here. I mean, what we leave behind is what our kids will have. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
it was, yeah, we kinda, I wasn't expecting the dog conversation, but yeah, I'm really glad we had it because so many people are not aware, and the only way that we can make it better is by getting people aware and getting involved in your community. So if that's something that, like, really, stuck out to you, get involved in your local dog rescue community, and there's a lot of ways you can do that.
And do you have
Mhm.
like a specific like SPCA is one of them probably or anything like that? Or
So I would actually recommend working with local shelters, um, that are just their own thing. Pretty much every major city has a humane society, but also other smaller, less funded shelters, and those are typically the ones that are euthanizing at higher rates because they have smaller space and high intake.
Mhm.
So if you can foster, and most shelters will provide you with everything you need to foster a dog. They will give you food, they will give you toys, they will give you blankets, they will give you everything. Um, just to help them create space, and then you can take the dog out, help it get adopted. I've done that a few times. It's really great. So yeah, I just recommend getting involved as locally as possible in that regard. Mhm.
And if you're looking for a dog, that's where you should start with first. But
Yes.
also
Yes.
understand
Mhm.
your space, as we talked about the space.
Mhm. That,
Understand
and
your
then just one thing I'll add because I don't want it to slip my mind. If you do foster or rescue a dog from a shelter, there is a thing called the rule of three. So it takes 3 days for them to just get their bearings,
mm,
3 weeks for them to start to decompress, and 3 months for them to feel safe and settled. And that's another kind of problem is people will adopt a dog from the shelter thinking they're doing something good, and then they don't give the dog the time it needs to decompress from that environment and that level of fear and uncertainty, and then they just like take it right back because they're like, this dog isn't good, and it's like, no, it's just been in a kennel for 20 hours a day for 7 months. Like,
yeah,
you
that's
know,
tough.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
tough.
mhm.
So hang on. we're going to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. And if you are interested in a dog, please go to your local shelter and help them out. It's really a big need. And in the meantime, thank you. Appreciate it. Hang tight.